So it's about 2 weeks. It's time for me to do our quick update video on how the tomato plants from suckers did. So I'll show you. So they've all done really well. I think my favorite method is still just sticking them directly in soil and keeping it wet. Even this guy that was like a really large sucker did really well just being stuck in the soil, and he's been thriving. This is our Amish paste. And we did a few more that were a little smaller, just so you can see the difference. And this was our smallest one, and they've all done really well. I would say that maybe the best size was probably this one here, just because he'll probably catch up real fast, but I don't think these ones are stunted that much, to be honest. And the advantage of this bigger one is that there's already some flowers coming, so it's going to bear fruit a little bit faster. It needs to be put in the ground, mind you, for that. So this is the first time I've done it in water, and they soak up water fast because I added water to these guys. But look at that. So they are just happy. So we've mixed up some soil and just plant some of them. But let me just separate one so you can see really well. So some of these guys were really big, and as I said, you know, it's probably better to use 6-inch tomato suckers, but the roots are awesome. So now we have extra plants that we can give away, and I just can't believe that. Look at that. So for the sake of science, I'm gonna show you, to be fair, how well these ones did that went directly into the soil. So there you have it. 2 weeks from a sucker to a plant that looks like it was planted from seed and is doing fantastic. I have to say, this is my favorite method. But you decide for yourself what's easiest for you. Now, we did put our soil mix, has mycorrhizal in it, so that does help with the rooting. We'll just open this one up and see how he did. So again, they're doing really well. And the largest guy, let's see how he did. Now his roots are already coming through the bottom. And he's actually almost starting to get root bound, so there you go. So again, if you're going to use the soil method, have a good light soil mix that has some mycorrhizal in it. I like using the Pro Mix, especially for something like this. You don't want to go wrong with your soil while you're rooting them. And make sure you keep them wet if you have to. If you think they might dry out, you can put them in a tray of water. But I just made sure they stayed wet, and they're doing fantastic. And I don't think it's been more than 2 weeks, so I'm going to do some more. I have somebody who wants some cherry tomatoes, so I have some more suckers I'll show you ready to go. I'm just going to plant them directly into the soil. So since I have to do these right now for somebody anyways, I thought I would show you how easy it is to do the soil method. So this guy's pretty big, but no bigger than the ones I did last time. We're just going to take them over. So we literally just brought him to the other side of the greenhouse. I'm probably going to take some of his leaves off. The deeper the pot, the better, but at this point, this is what I have clean, so I'm going to stick him in here with our mix that we made up. You could use probably a 3-in-1 mix or some potting soil, whatever. I think as long as it has the mycorrhizal, to be honest, that's the important part at this point, because you want him to root. So we just stuck them in. We're going to water them right away. That's the one thing with doing this method. and then we'll do another one, and we'll just keep going like that. So we're going to let it soak in. I'm going to make sure that he's good and wet. And we can see that the water has saturated all the way to the bottom, so that's good. And we're just going to put him in the shade, and that's it. It's that simple, and I like that method because you don't have to come back until it's time to transplant him out, which is, I got enough to do. But I really enjoyed seeing how the roots developed in water and trying the other method. It's fun to try different ways. Yeah, so I'm just going to pot up a whole bunch more of these, and I'll have a bunch to give away. So now that you've seen how it's done, it's that simple. They're going to wilt a little bit for a day or two. Just keep them well watered. Don't worry about that. Keep them in a shady, cooler area. And they're going to bounce back and get beautiful roots. And you'll be able to give them away. You'll be able to add to your own plants in your garden. I think my plan for next year, like this is great for somebody who doesn't have a lot of room to start a whole bunch of tomato plants inside. You could start them and transplant them into larger pots if you start them a little bit earlier than you normally would, and then you can just take the suckers off them as they come and have more plants. So you would really only have to plant one or two of a variety instead of planting a whole bunch of a variety, and then get the suckers off of them. And I mean, we're only just finishing the first week of June, so I could have done this a little bit earlier and we would have had good sized plants to go out into the garden. So I hope this helps. I hope you try it. Don't be afraid to try. Get out there and grow a garden.